You may know someone like this. They obsess over their world as if it holds law in the real one. They curate endlessly, not for joy, but for proof. They are always performing because being alone feels like being invisible. It's not vanity. It's armor, worn not to impress, but to remain intact. A fear that says, if the illusion faded, would they be held or left behind?
Narcissus didn't fall in love. He fell into longing for someone to finally mirror him back.
Freud believed that narcissism emerges as a defense, a turning inward when the outer world fails to nurture. We create an idealized self because the real one felt invisible. Jung spoke of the inflated ego, the part of us that builds an identity out of survival, not truth. It's not vanity, it's compensation. When the world does not reflect us, we build a mirror from our imagination. We crave admiration to quiet the ache of being unseen. So we post, we pose, we wait for the algorithm to say, you exist, you matter. But inside, we are starving, not for likes, but for connection. The addiction to attention is real, but it didn't begin with ego. It began with absence, trying to restore something never received. A consistent, loving gaze that says, I see you, even when you're not performing. Modern culture rewards the curated self, but curation is control, and control is often fear dressed up as aesthetic. They fear rejection, so they perform. They fear insignificance, so they become loud. They fear intimacy, so they keep it surface level and call it content. But the one who is constantly seen may still feel completely unknown. And the more they mirror themselves for others, the further they drift from the core. If you're still watching, take a moment to subscribe. It helps us grow. Want to go deeper? Take the Archetype test in the description to find out what inner patterns are shaping your identity. To heal narcissism isn't to shame it. It's to ask, what was missing when so much became necessary? Real connection doesn't require a perfect image. It requires presence. When the performance ends and awareness begins, the child who was never mirrored comes into view. That early self, still waiting to be chosen. Carl Jung called this the path of individuation, becoming whole by reclaiming the forgotten parts. Not the most admired, not the most followed, but the most real. Much of this begins with the maternal gaze. When a child is not consistently seen, soothed, or mirrored, they internalize a deep fracture, not just of identity, but of worth. They learn to become what others want. They sculpt themselves to avoid abandonment. As adults, they seek that gaze again, through praise, followers, or romantic intensity. But it never lands, because the original absence cannot be filled by public adoration. They are not seeking attention. They are searching for a mother they never emotionally met. When that fracture is never healed, the adult often becomes emotionally vampiric. They feed on admiration to avoid the void. They charm. They manipulate. They ascend social ladders built on fantasy. But no one can do this work for them. And the longer it is avoided, the more difficult it becomes to even imagine who they are without the audience. Eventually, even the loudest performance dissolves. What remains is who they chose to become when no one was watching. Narcissus didn't die because he loved himself. He died because he mistook his reflection for love. And maybe they're not shallow. Maybe they're starving. Not just for validation, but for the moment someone sees them and doesn't turn away. Take the Archetype test in the description to explore what drives you. Then tell us in the comments what you discovered. Thanks for watching.